In a news story, what is attribution and why does it matter? Welcome to the first rough draft of history, a video channel about all things journalism. I'm Rob Sterner. There's an old saying in the newsroom, a reporter is only as good as his sources. When we read a news story, we want to know who said that quote, where did that statistic come from? This is where attribution comes in. Attribution is crediting a person or organization as the source of information in a news story. There are 4 levels of attribution generally used in the news business. The first and most common level of attribution is on the record. A source that is speaking with a reporter on the record should expect that their name, their title, and everything they say could end up being quoted directly in a story. This is the best and preferred level of attribution because it lets the reader see and hear the source's exact words, know the origin of the information, and ultimately judge for themselves the value and truthfulness of what the source said. On background is the second level. This is often called not for attribution, which is fitting because it means the reporter may quote directly a source, but not include his or her name or title. The reporter may describe the source by his or her position. Many political and military stories will use information from sources on background and be attributed as senior White House staffer or Pentagon official. The position description is given as accurately as possible to give the audience a sense of the accuracy and gravitas of the source of information, but also vague enough to disguise who was the exact source. Often this is done to protect sources who won't talk to reporters for fear they might lose their job because of the information they are divulging. The third level is on deep background. This is a variation of on background where the information is not quoted directly and the attribution of the source is not identified in any way. Generally, without a high level of confidence in the source and the truthfulness of the information, and often approval of the reporter's publication, deep background sourcing is not advised. Now, why is this? Background and deep background sourcing, sometimes lumped together incorrectly as anonymous sourcing, can lead to the audience having little faith in the veracity of the news story. It can feel like the information is fabricated. Another fear is that if the information proves false or fabricated, the news organization's reputation is harmed and not that of the source. The Associated Press, for example, has stringent guidelines for using material from anonymous sources. The material is information and not opinion or speculation and is vital to the news report. The information is not available except under the conditions of anonymity imposed by the source. And third, the source is reliable and in a position to have accurate information. Despite the way it may look in print, reporters almost always know the identity of their anonymous source. The source has been vetted and earned the trust of the reporter. The final level of attribution is off the record. Generally, this means the source's information and name and title cannot be used. However, often many people in an organization know a key piece of information. If the first few won't go on the record, perhaps others will, and thus the reporter will dig, especially now that the reporter knows what to look for. Most reporters begin from on-the-record stance. That is, anything you say to them can be quoted, especially if you're a public official. But determining what is and isn't off the record is ultimately a matter of mutual agreement. That is, both the reporter and the source must agree that a conversation is off the record or on background. So the next time you read a news story, take a look at who the sources are and how they're attributed.